Hi, my name is Salma Abdelgawad, and I'm the MPHS Class of 2020 Valedictorian. Dear Mount Pleasant High School Class of 2020, congratulations, we finally made it. While senior year was definitely not what we expected, it has proven that we are a group of strong and resilient young adults ready to take on the world. These past few months have been filled with challenges and frustrations when they should have been filled with memorable events and celebrations. However, these last few months don't do justice to the 4 amazing years we've spent together. So instead of dwelling on these unfortunate circumstances, I'd like to take a step back and look at how we've grown together during these past years. 4 years ago, we walked into the high school for the first time as scared and intimidated freshmen. We didn't know what classes to take or where to sit at lunch, and we practically worshiped the seniors. But soon, Greg had learned all 200 of our names by heart, and we had learned how to not get lost in the halls. We settled in and got the hang of things, and before we knew it, our first year was over. Then we were sophomores, and we weren't afraid to start dipping our toes in the water. We challenged ourselves and took our first ever AP classes. We joined clubs and got more and more involved in extracurricular activities. Soon, the year was over, and we couldn't believe we were halfway done with high school. On to the dreaded junior year, which was by far the most stressful. This is the year we all began thinking about our futures and what we wanted to do after high school. We took all the AP classes we could and spent countless hours studying for the SAT, and we were so relieved when the year was finally over. After surviving our hardest year, we knew we could handle anything, and we began our senior year with our heads held high, just like the seniors we had looked up to a few years earlier. We had all grown into such confident and intelligent individuals and were ready to take on senior year. As we began applying for college, we learned to stop for a minute and cherish these last few moments of high school. We enjoyed our last first day of school, our last sporting events, last spirit week, and even our last exams. While we did indeed miss our last few months of high school, let's not forget all of the memories and laughs we shared during these 4 years. When you look back at high school, remember the countless fun times you had, not the few events you missed out on. Now, these 4 years would not have been as wonderful as they were without you, my fellow graduates. We've grown up, laughed, cried, and even witnessed history together. I will always be grateful to be part of such an extraordinary class. So, I would like to thank each and every one of my talented and brilliant classmates and wish you all the best of luck. I can't wait to see what you'll accomplish in the bright futures ahead of you. But we couldn't have made it without our teachers and staff. I would like to thank all of my teachers. Thank you for all that you have taught me. Thank you for making me love learning. And most importantly, thank you for going above and beyond and always being there for us in times of need. Now, I can't forget our wonderful administrators, counselors, and staff who work so hard behind the scenes to make sure we succeed. Thank you for all of your help and support. And last, but definitely not least, I would like to thank my parents, my brothers, and my entire family. Thank you for your endless love and support. You've stood right next to me since the very beginning, and you are the reason behind my success. No words can express how grateful I am. Thank you for everything. Now, I know we're all disappointed that we're not able to come together to say our last goodbyes or celebrate our accomplishments, but I'd like to use this speech to bid farewell one last time to you, the class of 2020. We persisted through a very unprecedented senior year and came out stronger than before. I want you all to go out into the world with your dreams and aspirations and show them that we can do anything we set our minds to. Congratulations, class of 2020, and go Oilers!
My name is Rachel Bloomfield, MPHS Salutatorian, class of 2020. Hello, class of 2020, and all those here to support our graduating class. This year we are celebrating our graduation in a very untraditional way. Even though the circumstances in which we are graduating are very different than those before us, the pathway to graduation was much the same. We've all spent 13 years learning, growing, and developing into who we are today. And yet those 13 years were uniquely individual to each one of us, as will be our futures. We get to choose where we go, who we want to be, and how we get to live our lives. As we do this, I am reminded of and grateful for those who have helped me along the way. My teachers, coaches, and of course my parents who have raised me these past 18 years. These past years have given us the experiences we need to look to the future and keep our goals and dreams in sight. Good luck, class of 2020.
Greetings, 2020 graduates of Mount Pleasant High School. This is certainly not how we imagined our graduation would go, and I'm sure all of you, like me, are sad about missing out on a good chunk of our final year of high school. Many of us didn't get to play our favorite sports this spring. We didn't get to go to our senior prom, and now you're all here 2 months later than you should have been, graduating while wearing a mask and maintaining social distance. This pandemic will most likely change the world in ways we don't know yet, but we are the future, and we are the ones who will shape the new post-coronavirus world. One of the life lessons this pandemic has taught us is to be flexible. Flexible people are the people who will succeed in the midst of change, disappointment, and fear. We know that life rarely follows the path we expected to, and this is the first of many times where your life will look different than you expected. As we go out into the world on our own for the first time, I hope we can challenge ourselves in 3 ways. First, we need to find a way to balance our responsibility to the community with our own dreams and desires. Our individual freedoms should not rise above our commitment to the community. As we take the next step in our lives, we shouldn't just think about our own individual aspirations. We should also think about our obligations and responsibilities to the community and to our society as a whole. What can we do to make the world a better place? Second, we need to value every human being, not just the people who look like you or talk like you, but all people, no matter their color, religion, sexual orientation, ethnicity, or gender. We need to help make the world safe for everyone. We need change to happen, and that change starts with us. And finally, I challenge you all to vote in the presidential election this coming November. We are the generation that can make the difference in this election. It's up to us.
Hi, my name is Dana Hayes. I'm a class of 2020 salutatorian. Hello, MPHS class of 2020. The obstacles that we faced are immense, and before March, they were unimaginable. We've faced problems that no other classes have had to overcome. We've had many adversities over these past few months. Sports seasons were cut short, prom was canceled, graduation postponed. We've barely seen each other since March. Who would have thought that Friday, March 13 was the last time that we would see each other until today? As Andy Bernard from The Office says, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you actually left them. We took what we had for granted, and we didn't know this year would come to an abrupt stop like it did. But I have learned so much from these unprecedented times. My fellow classmates, let's remember to live in the moment, be thankful for what we have, and always support each other through tough times. We may not have a perfect fairy tale ending, but we have proven that we can make it through anything. This period has taught us lessons and shown us how strong we can be together. I truly cannot wait to see where our future takes us. None of us would have made it this far without all of the support. Thank you to my loving parents and family, understanding teachers, and to the community for helping us every inch of the way. But most of all, thank you, class of 2020, for sticking together and persevering through these difficult times, showing that we will never back down from any challenge.
Hi, my name is Chani Kohtz, and I'm the Salutatorian of Mount Pleasant High School's class of 2020. Good evening, families, friends, and faculty. First, I would like to thank all of you here for celebrating us and supporting us throughout our years in high school. I would like to thank those who could not make it today for their support as well. We would not be where we are today without you, and I hope that you are all in good health. It is difficult to express how we've changed and what we've learned over these 4 years, but I found that origami helps me organize my thoughts. Let me show you. When we graduate high school, we begin the first few folds of a sheet of paper. They're simple folds. Fold in half diagonally and straight both ways. But they have to be exact because all other folds are based on these. Then the folds form something called a base, which is the foundation of what you create with the paper, what we become as adults. When we add the details, we need a solid base to work with. If we misfold the first few creases, the end result won't turn out the way that it should. A butterfly. Luckily, in the real world, misfolds are thrown at us all the time, whether it's struggles we face on our own or struggles we face together. Here's the result if you misfold a single diagonal. It's not great. This butterfly did everything it's supposed to, but one error ruined it. But perhaps we can find a solution. Say you missed the edge here, like in the other butterfly. But instead of continuing on the same path, you change the other folds. You make the 2 diagonals shift over, and you add 2 additional diagonal folds. It takes a bit more work, but in the end it fixes the issue, unlike the other butterfly. You might get perfect grades and follow what people will say grant you success without thinking about what really matters to you and find yourself unhappy. Or maybe you'll struggle against issues beyond your control. And as a community, we may be the ones who allow those issues to prevail. Either way, if you don't acknowledge the misfold before you collapse the base will be fatally flawed, and everything else afterwards suffers. This base looks a little bit different from the original, but when you finish this butterfly, it'll look pretty nice, because the problem was addressed. It just won't look exactly like the butterfly you expected. The first folds upon which we build our lives are critical, but because of what we've experienced and the lessons that our friends, families, and teachers have taught us during high school, I predict we are up for the challenge. So to the class of 2020, I would like to say, congratulations and good luck on your first fold.